The U.S.-led coalition has won many recent battles against ISIS in Syria, Iraq, and elsewhere. However, these victories create new problems. Surviving jihadist fighters migrating to new battlefields. The U.S. Army War College published a monograph on this topic in March 2019 from British academic and practitioner Dr. Shima Keene, called Extremist Migration, a Foreign Jihadist Fighter Threat Assessment. Dr. Keene, the director of the Conflict Studies Research Center in Oxford and a senior fellow at the Institute for Statecraft in London, dissects the jihadist migration process, examining factors such as need, opportunity, possible methods of travel, and support mechanisms that allow jihadist migration to take place. Jihadist fighters originally from the West can return home and make places in Europe and North America their new battleground, and others may travel to those new battlegrounds. These scenarios have started to materialize in Europe. In recent attacks in France, Germany, Belgium, and the UK, Dr. Keene states that for every jihadist fighter killed, many more are recruited. To disrupt this cycle, we need to understand how jihadist fighters are recruited and how they migrate to the battlefield. Their choice of a new battlefield depends on the ability to travel there. For example, many jihadist fighters travel to Syria to join ISIS because it is easy to get there. They fly to Turkey, a popular tourist destination, then drive to the Syrian border. Recruiting is also a problem. According to the United Nations, financial incentives are key, with ISIS offering recruits a starting salary of $2,500 per month, with promises that if they're killed, the money will continue to be paid to their families. To address these problems, Dr. Keene makes multiple policy recommendations. In response to foreign jihadist fighters traveling to fragile states, continued efforts to improve the ability of host nations to strengthen the rule of law and engage in good governance are essential. In response to jihadist fighters returning to the West, the United States should ensure it is part of the international effort to identify and detain these fighters, to prosecute or rehabilitate them, depending on the circumstances. Because foreign fighters are likely to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, some experts believe that jihadist fighters should be provided with psychological services rather than prison time, which would likely further radicalize them. In response to jihadist recruitment methods, the United States and its allies should be aware of the humanitarian narrative used by enemy information operations and seek ways to address and counter these messages. In response to fertile jihadist recruiting grounds, the United States should consider how financial intelligence can identify and disrupt corrupt networks. Dr. Keene's Extremist Migration, a Foreign Jihadist Fighter Threat Assessment monograph, makes a valuable contribution to the debate on how to plan and shape future U.S. military operations, considering the challenges these fighters create. To read Dr. Keene's monograph, visit the U.S. Army War College Strategic Studies Institute website.